It was 23 different states and 15 countries on a Saturday morning in Lexington, Texas.
They know me, but I don't know them.
Yeah,
so
well, you know.
that's all right.
It's the price of fame.
No, we're not chasing a list. We're very thankful and blessed to be considered, but we do what we do, and it's traditional barbecue.
I'd like to hear what you guys remember about those times. I missed it. I miss getting that stuff on tape with my father, and I regret it every day. Mark.
Action. Be careful with the mic. You forget you got them on, you go talking shit about somebody in the film crew. I had one come to me and said, don't forget your mic.
I was going to say, how many times that happened to you when you walk into the office or in the restroom?
Quit. Yeah.
They gave us a scripture that we were to say.
Oh, yeah, you talk about it.
Didn't make no sense at all.
I mean, it was
full of
we
shit.
couldn't read it. It was over our head to read, and we sat on that porch trying to recite it a few times.
Who did this?
I don't remember.
I don't know who it was. But they walked up to me, and I was getting ready to turn the chickens or something. And they said, okay, say it again. And I said, that damn shit again. And it went out.
I hope they kept that.
There's nothing worse than somebody telling you what to say.
Oh, there's been times it was, all right, do it again. And she, early on, she'd say, I ain't opening the pit right now. I'll open it back up here and leave y'all be ready.
As it should be.
But, you know, back then, when we first were recognized, I didn't have everything ready. I mean, I'm still cooking until 9 o'clock at least.
Yeah.
You know, here, open the pit. And I mean, I finally got tired of it. I said, now, I've got to get this meat done. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you when I'm opening it. I'm not opening it until then. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, I got rude with them, but damn it.
But that one on the porch that day of trying to say that shit, I mean, it got plumb comical. I mean,
it was something
I don't remember what it was.
That one of them, January, February, March, April, June, July, August. May is, we don't say it's barbecue or something to that effect. I mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever, man. But you guys have had all kinds come through, you know? You've had people who are just ordinary folks who's heard about you, wanted to have the experience. You've had people from all over the world come see you. You've had famous culinary people come see you. You've had all sorts of celebrities come through. It's not surprising to me that everybody wants to get a piece of you in some form or fashion. And, you know, the fact that you guys can just kind of brush it off and just make light of it says a lot about who you are and what you are and how true you are to yourselves.
It'd be really interesting to know how many, you know, who has come through here that we didn't recognize or didn't know.
Mm-hmm. There's probably been a ton of people.
I mean, there's no telling.
Probably more that have come
you know,
through that
because
you didn't know
I don't
about.
recognize anybody. The night Robert Duvall come, had Hershey not been here, I wouldn't have recognized him, you know. It was at a bad time and on a Friday night, and we weren't open the next day. But how many have come through? I mean, when Jesse James came, I mean, he was in line back here behind the building, and had somebody not told me about him, I would have never dawned on me.
Just another person coming through.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy.
But that's not why you did this.
No,
you didn't
I mean,
do
it's-
this for. I mean, you wanted to make barbecue.
And that's why I told somebody the other day, I probably have more from out of the country on a Saturday than I have within this county. Not this town, within this county. You know, that'll be out of the country.
Very much so.
That being said, Milam County has like 7 people. So.
Lee County, yeah.
Lee County, sorry. We passed through Milam.
Yeah.
We clipped it.
No, it's the last time I counted, and it's been over a year. Last time I actually went through and counted it, it was 23 different states and 15 countries on a Saturday morning in Lexington, Texas.
Wow.
23 different states. And about 4 or 5 weeks ago, when we had that busy one, I wanted to count it, and I haven't done it, and I will. But it's 10 or 12, 15 different states, you know, on a norm, but it's just mind-boggling that, you know, 23 different states in Lexington on a Saturday morning in 15 countries.
Yeah.
So how do you figure that out?
I got a little sign-in book at the door.
Yeah.
That just, I mean, no addresses, emails, or nothing, just to sign in to
Yeah,
kind of.
just who are you, where
know,
you
I
from?
got
Where
it from
you're from.
one of y'all had the pins,
they got
and I kept
the
saying
maps.
that I was
Yeah.
going to do that. Well, it was too late. And, I mean, I just don't have the room, for it. But it would be very interesting to see a pin map of.
Oh, you
everybody.
couldn't do a pin map. And that's why I decided I have to do small little stickers so they can actually place them on top of each other, right? Because you're going to run out of room in the metro areas around the world for enough pins to fit in there. Then you got kids, going to stick them in their eye. They're going to swallow a handful.
Oh, yeah.
All that crazy
One-star
shit.
review.
Yeah.
All due respect to Thrall of Thorndale. One day that's years ago. Lady came in. She said, "I came all the way from Thorndale to get y'all's barbecue." How far has anyone come?
And that's like Saturday they asked out. I mean, really, I'm not smart enough to know, really, where is the farthest place from right here? Where would be the farthest?
Probably like Australia, New Zealand,
I mean, that's kind of irregular.
maybe Micronesia.
The
or
UK,
something like that.
I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean,
hell,
it just
several
after
weeks
March-
ago we had a busload on a Tuesday or
Company.
Thursday from Japan. They had kind of prearranged it.
Yeah.
Where are they coming out of Austin to get here, or Dallas, or just all over?
Houston.
Normally, are the
Houston?
Japanese that came?
What they just in general, the people that are.
I mean, usually, I mean, majority probably fly into Austin, but a lot's Dallas, Houston. I mean, that group of Japanese were actually going out of Houston, but I mean, and what's funny, they'll Uber out here.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
And then they get ready to Uber out of here, and come to find out there ain't no Uber here. I mean, it don't happen a lot, but it's happened quite a bit. I mean, we had a large party one time that their bus had broke down, and they just Ubered out here, and went to Uber out, and there's 15 or 18 of them. No, I mean,
That's when you tell that Uber driver, look, you're just staying right here.
Uh-huh.
I'm
Yeah.
paying you whatever your time is.
well, they don't know it till they get through
Get ready
eating.
to leave.
But they're not clued in with it.
Hit
Talk-
that Uber.
Talk about not paying attention, being lacking a little situational awareness. We're in the middle of nowhere.
There for a while, it was just a regular occurrence to have to call. There's a cab in Giddings. One cab.
Is there?
In Giddings. I mean, there may be a couple now in Uber in Giddings, I imagine, but,
We lost our cab, I think, 30, 40 years ago.
he still runs around. He had run doctor's appointments. He actually helped a bunch years
Really?
ago.
Who?
Larry's.
We used to have a cab in Taylor, but they stopped running when I was in junior high.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But Larry still runs, don't he?
I don't know if he is still or not.
I mean,
Business opportunity, Wayne.
Yeah.
that's kind of like a bed and breakfast. I've got rentals. I don't know why I hadn't had one of them close by here 15 years ago.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Sell the whole experience.
yeah, the whole thing. Package deal.
Yeah. Extra to come and watch you cook in the evening. And hear you cuss and scream about shit.
Earlier, Kerry was saying for their shipping, they do a second cook during the week, and when they do the cook for the shipping, they'll sell like 5 or 6 spots for people
Yeah,
to come.
usually once a month we'll do a little class, and it's just kind of Clay to make a little extra while he's here. But it's been going really good, real good. We don't try not to do too many of them, but it's have 5 or 6. Usually try to keep it at 5. Sometimes we've had, and that's what's funny. We've had other countries that have had to actually bring an interpreter for them to take the class. That was kind of a self-booked when there was 6 or 8 of them, and they had to have an interpreter.
Hey everybody, I'm Nick from Stanley's Famous Pit Barbecue and Tyler. As always, I'm here with Justin from Pecan Lodge and Wayne from Louis Miller Barbecue and Taylor. Welcome to Smokeless Podcast. We are here today with Kerry and Tootsie from Snow's Barbecue in Lexington, Texas.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's it. Thank you.
See y'all.
All right, good job. Good job.
So how was your Easter?
Great.
Yeah?
Went and visited friends in Bryan and had a good time.
Yeah, hunt some Easter eggs?
No, I stayed inside while they did that. Because they lost one Easter egg that had a $2 bill in it.
Oh no. Where's this again?
I don't know if they ever found it or
I
not.
better go. I'm
my
going to go
bad.
searching. How about you, Kerry?
We had a good one. We had 2 or 3 of them. We had actually had one here Sunday, and our family kind of gathered here. It was great.
Yeah.
A little bit of rain, and
Did you have to cook for it?
no, we did not. Mama had hams, and we didn't. That's what all the confetti scattered everywhere. That rain, it just kind of all stuck.
Yeah.
But it was a
very
great
festive.
weekend. We had a good Saturday, and it was a beautiful weekend. Finally, some
So we
rain.
had crawfish, boiled crawfish.
Man,
That sounds good.
That was
Really
different.
good.
that time of year.
Yeah.
How you getting that family?
How'd I get in?
I said, how do you get in that family? I like
Right?
some boiled crawfish.
Sounds like a good
Oh,
answer
damn,
right
no
there.
ham.
So many people in Giddings, whenever they have something, would you come? Would you come?
Yeah. But you know everybody there, don't you?
No, we've got
No?
a lot of strangers for me.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So, a lot of new people just over
New
time?
people moving in.
Really?
But they know me, but I don't know them.
Yeah,
so
well, you know,
that's all right.
it's the price of
Kinda
fame.
Yeah.
That's like we was kin to half of them in town for years here, and now I go to grandkids' school event and don't know nobody.
Nobody.
Here in Lexington?
Yeah, shit. I mean, it's not that it's been that major of a influence on new people, but it's just over time, memory and new people, you just don't know.
Oh, I feel that way in Taylor. I don't know most of the people there anymore. It's just a different environment.
Mm-hmm.
Different group of people, different ideas. And
Different raisings,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. And very different expectations about things. About school, about, you know, community, about just our downtown space, just you name it. There's different outlooks now on what the town should be, what its identity should be. So it's all changing pretty fast now. And, you know, one of the things that I was hoping that we would get to explore today are looking backwards and talking about some of those earlier times that were much simpler, when we saw the world in a different way, where, you know, everybody sort of had their rituals and traditions, not only in holidays, but on weekends, after church or on Wednesdays. Just what they did with their lives was seemingly way more structured and way more community driven. Everybody knew each other much more deeply and entailed than they do today. Even in small towns, you know, this diffusion and sort of disconnect has really changed things.
Priorities. I mean, the priorities of people today. I mean, ours was always work. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, you based everything off time of work, and now the available time of even my kids and them, it's like, how in the hell do you have time to go do that? And it's crazy to see how I anticipated this. Like I've told my kids, y'all are going to see a different world. I really didn't think I would experience what we're experiencing today.
Yeah.
You know, the change is so drastic.
Well, think about that for a second. You know, when you first thought about, hey, you know, I want to create a barbecue place. I mean, there was my understanding was there was thoughts of family involved in that decision about, you know, I want a place for my kids to work. I want a place, you know, to sort of serve the community. It was, you know, it was you being just an extension of the community that you're in and involving your family in the enterprise. And it wasn't meant to be like some giant juggernaut. It was just, it was
Explosion.
It was meant to, you know, make a few extra dollars and you know, keep the family close. That was my understanding. Is that pretty close?
That is solely it. I mean, I watched Tootsie's market that she had from 76 to 96 on a Saturday. Our livestock sales a block down the street from here, and to see her clientele. And after she closed, it was kind of regroup around that clientele and think. I mean, I remember when I first opened was having a cheese and fresh green onion, you know, the little green shallot onions and all. I mean, but it's trying to base around that people in our local community. you know, had that been the case today, you know, you'd go under without the, you know, the outsiders and the travelers and all. I mean, here in Lexington itself, there's been so many, since she sold her market, so many have made a go at it of different things. And Lexington's just a really tough town. I mean, you know, we're a town of 1,100 people, and most of them are commuting to Austin, to Bryan, to Giddings, you know.
Yeah.
So grocery stores, gas stations, well, a lot of that's done on their way home.
On the way home, they've got larger stores in other towns.
And we had that Saturday in mind because that's what she had done forever. And that, you know, we get that question weekly, why Saturdays only? Well, that's the only day that works for everybody that actually works full time. And,
Right.
you know, can you imagine? I mean, y'all probably are can comment on it, but hiring 50, 60, or 100 people today as to hiring 50 or 60 or 100 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the stress level difference and the quality of personnel you get? I mean, it's just mind-boggling to think of people that are actually labor hands today.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
They don't, and it's sad that I can't even tell my kids really how we lived other than them just try to hear the stories and think. We didn't live bad. None of us did. I mean, we had everything, but work was
Right.
number one priority.
Yeah, it was.
And that's why
number
we
one.
get, I mean, our personalities, and me and Tootsie's are a little different, but that's what combines us together is just the way we think and do things. I mean, you know, Clay, he's wonderful, but to ask him to cook and pick up or do trash also while you're here, that just overloads the bucket. You know, it's just
So often on a Saturday morning when I was doing all the cooking and Kerry would come in later, we would be sitting here and I'd see something and I'd get up to go do it. About that time he got up and we spotted something and we both went at the same time to do it or thought of something we had to do. I mean, we just ran in the same track and
it's just it's just very appreciative to look back and to have them traits that our kids today don't have. I mean, when the time I drove to school probably at 12, 13, 14 years old. But hell, about that time I was paying for my own gas, you know, had an own checkbook. And, you know, if not, back then they'd have counter checks on the counter.
On the
You just
counter.
write it or...
Yep.
Yeah.
but
people don't realize what they
it's
were.
just different.
It is different. So when you were looking that,
No name.
I'm going to open this. Did you decide that you were going to make a go of this after Tootsie's closed her place? Or
Oh, yeah.
Right about the time.
Well, I thought about it about the time, but she had committed to helping the original owners that bought it, so that was a no-go. She was going to stay there and keep her word and help them, and a year or two rocked along. I actually had a farm and ranch store at this exact location that opened in 92. I left the state in 92 and opened a farm and ranch store here, had feed, fencing, building materials, vet supplies and stuff at this location. I knew it'd be a neat location by the auction barn. I mean, again, we're off the highway and, you know, I wasn't thinking of travelers. I was thinking of locals, as you said earlier. And,
right.
and then she said something about a year later, and I said, at the time, it's just not. And a year or two later, rocked along, and I guess she sold in 96, and finally in 2002, she mentioned it one morning, and she said, let's sit down and talk, and we did, and I went to building pits, and
I wanted him to build them overnight that I wouldn't lose out, but he didn't build them that quick.
you know, at that time, to look back and to think, I mean, I worked.
To play it.
In 2003, went to work for Alcoa, was working a 40-hour week in real estate and a little bit of cattle and rental property, and
And
you know,
he was probably on shift work too.
oh yeah, working,
Yeah, for sure. Alcoa,
rotating
yeah.
shifts,
Yeah.
and I did that up until 21.
Yeah.
22. I had a stroke in 21, and I finally went back and worked till 22, working full time doing all of that. And
That's why you had a stroke.
partially,
Yeah.
there's a lot of
Stress.
contributing factors, probably, but
I'm sure.
nothing bad. And I mean, it was just a way of life.
I
But
think a lot of night work does cause stress.
you know, my fun was having a good, successful day. When I got home in the evening and had a good, successful day, it was rewarding. You know, and I didn't think of it that way at the time. You know, I talk to the kids now, they'll miss a Saturday to go do something, and I'm thinking, well, I think I could have planned around that Saturday. You know, they've got a pretty good gig here.
Yeah.
And they don't think twice about it.
I'm gonna take off, and that's it.
Yes.
You know?
You know, growing up, we'd have never done that.
Right.
There's a different sense of responsibility now.
And accountability.
And accountability more than anything, probably.
Yeah. Like, it wasn't suggested that you get a job. It was enforced that you got a job.
I mean, I never recall my parents telling me to go to work, telling me to get out there and make some money. I mean, it was just a drive you had. You know, there was some that didn't, but for the majority of the population,
yeah,
they thought that way.
You just automatically,
And what else were you going to do, right? Sit at home? You weren't going to sit at home watching TV or playing video games. That didn't exist.
That didn't
exist.
You were just at home, right? You were just at home. There was nothing else to do. Yard work, maybe some chores around the house.
Mm-hmm. And when you got through with them,
you're kind of isolated. It's
patch
not like,
fence.
Right?
If you knew where a bad spot was, you went and patched fence.
But working at least gave you some interaction with other people too, right? You made some money. You learned some responsibility.
Responsibility was a lot of it.
Yeah, and so many kids just don't have it because they're not pushed into it because they don't have to be today. And so when we receive a lot of people, they're missing a lot of just the basic programming, the basic skills that we all grew up with. They're just not there because they've never been forced into those situations. They don't have to do them. So they're really, it's not even a matter of atrophy because they don't even know that that they should know these things.
And I'm guilty. I have spoiled my kids, and I'm blessed that I can, but I've contributed to that problem along the way. You know, in school, I'd look at some kids you'd see drive up with at that time, a $50,000 truck and think, how?
Yeah.
Or what are we teaching these? Where can they go up from here?
But I mean, it's a residual left over from like our grandparents or your parents from the Depression, where you want to make things better for the next generation so they don't have to suffer the way that the parents did, right?
Sure,
and it's just like everything else. You add so much to that the pendulum swings so far out that you just remove all challenges. You remove all pushback. You remove everything, all the obstacles that people have to overcome, and they don't learn how to do them. And now when they're faced with them in reality, they freeze because they don't know what to do.
What to do?
Yeah.
They're lost.
But even in the time frame of when Tootsie was a kid to myself and all of that, the technology improved with the time. Now the technology, where can kids go to improve from where we're at now? Yes, they can, but that pendulum has swung all the way to one side now.
Just think.
How can my kids spoil their kids? It is not possible.
I saw electricity come in.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was 7 years old when we got electricity.
And you were where then? Where were you living?
Out here in Lexington.
7 years old, electricity just comes in. How old when you finally got your first phone?
We had a phone.
You had a phone then?
Yeah.
Was it a party line?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah,
they were all.
Everybody was on party line, right?
You knew exactly.
I look back in the 80s when I joined the fire department, it was a landline, but when the fire call came in, it rang at like 19 of our houses, all at once. You didn't have a pager, you didn't have nothing. It rang at everybody's house.
Yeah,
and you just
number
pick it up and listen,
371.
Where the fire was.
Yeah, you didn't have a whole string of numbers to call either. You only had just 3 or 4.
5 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
it was cell phones would have been in the early 80s of my knowledge. I remember being working for the state in 88 or 89. I had the old bag phone in the truck. Man, I had it hooked up to my horn. That thing would ring, it'd blow my horn. And got the same number today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, back then, they were still working with operators.
Oh, yeah.
patching through.
Oh yeah.
The
Through
operator
calls.
lived right over there.
Yeah.
Big cables going into that house.
Sarah, give me Andy at the diner. You know.
I mean, completely a different way of looking at life, right? Privacy and was looked at differently. I mean, you look at those things as privacy.
Can you imagine having a party line today?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, it's just like your Facebook. I mean, it's all over the world.
Yeah. Everybody
Well,
puts
Just
it
a
there.
different form.
Yeah, but they're not somebody just picking up the phone, listening to what you're having to say to
You and your
them.
gal talking.
Roy, get off the other line.
Do you have Facebook? Is that something that
I
you
do
have?
not have Facebook.
She still got a flip phone.
Good for you.
Oh, and can
Hero.
Yeah.
operate
me too.
it better than I can mine. I mean,
But
Yeah,
we got our first, talking about electricity, our first TV in 1952 for Mother's 40th birthday.
Oh wow.
Wow.
A black and white.
Black and white.
Right?
and it probably weighed 300 pounds.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a big box.
No.
Yeah. And a
How
big
many-
like
how many
wooden
channels?
console kind of thing, or was it?
I think it was wood, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seemed to be the thing at the time.
Well, metal, yeah, they hadn't gotten to started with metal.
Yeah. They stuck everything in wooden boxes in.
Like the
Hi-fi
telephone.
stereos.
That was
Yeah.
a big wooden
Yeah,
box.
it sure was.
Crank on the side and the receiver over here where you hung the
Yep.
earpiece. You talked into the phone.
Yeah.
That was a real thing.
And that's the blessing of me is every Friday night, Saturday morning is just a history lesson or something and talking to her of the, the times. If she sees somebody or I know somebody, then she'll relate them back to me, how I'm kin to them or everything. I mean, her memory and knowledge of old times is just crazy. I mean, her memory's 5 times better than mine today.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, we were reminiscing earlier about just family reunions and little communities, and like a strand of my family had come over and settled, and she knew all about it. She knew the festival, she knew the town, she knew the group of people, and it was, every town had its personality. Every town had its demographic group, right? And everybody there was just about everybody there was related. And
Yeah,
right.
because they didn't travel that far.
No.
Travel was hard to come up on unless you went by horseback.
Yeah. And even then, that's, half-day ride to get to the next small town. It's, it's such a different world now. And the diffusion, all the families just, you have some core families still around, but the town's changed so much. And now with all advancement and all of the urban sprawl coming this way, everything is changing, right?
No, and so fast, the farmland being turned in. And you can understand a 3rd or 4th generation child of a family ranch that they have zero interest in it, and that's $3 million for that little tract of land. You can't blame them, but it's very disturbing as much land as we're pouring concrete on, on a daily basis.
And just prime land.
Just prime land.
Good farmland.
You're a
Incredible.
perfect instance
Yeah.
over there where that, where Samsung went in was probably some of the top 3% farmland in the country.
It just blows my mind that we're willing to do that.
And
Just
you go
because
out
of
west of
locale.
Austin where you're rocks and nothing,
Yeah,
that'd have been ideal.
you would think, you would think.
But it's real hard in real estate and stuff is to try to keep bigger tracts from being broke up,
Yeah.
But we've been successful around here for years that there's not a lot of development, but there's going to come
It's
a time.
gonna hit.
We're going to lose out in some time, but it's, Mama helped develop a piece of land in 81 that out here, 10-acre tracts, and that was all the Austin commute. Well, we thought it was the end of the world. They all came in here and it was just real rough for many years, and it's cleaned back up in a very nice community. But, we've avoided them big transitions of 50 or 60 houses on a tract,
yeah.
for years.
Well, infrastructure and amenities have so much to do with that too. Until those are in place, places have a tendency not to grow so fast. But all it takes is one big developer to drop in, one big planned community, and it changes everything.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing, just as fast as you can blink, will just shift and change overnight. And it saddens me. I look at Taylor, and it's one of those things where, Taylor certainly had its issues and problems, I think, over the years, but it's the small town nature of the community is quickly fading, and it does sadden me.
I was thinking about that the other day. My family's from Abilene, and I was out there last weekend, and I remember as a kid growing up, and up to a certain point, anywhere where you were driving, you could always just lift your finger up and wave to somebody coming the other way on the road, and it was just like clockwork. Maybe you knew, maybe you didn't, but it was just an act of kindness, just acknowledging somebody. And I realized, I was like, my gosh, I don't see people doing that anymore.
No, that's funny you said that. I've just been paying more attention here recently of doing that. I did it my whole life, and I kind of got out of it and started again. As to how many just don't. I mean, that's not a norm. I mean, we get so much oohing and ahhing on a Saturday morning of the hospitality. They'll just, they're liable to talk more about it and the food. And, when I get done, I said, the sad part about that, everything you just talked about is free. That didn't cost me a penny to instill in staff how to treat people. It's sad that it's come to that. I mean, the hospitality end of it is, how many times they tell you how much you're going to tip? That's an ongoing thing now. Y'all probably have a podcast on that, but that you go somewhere and they're almost telling you how much you're going to tip.
Expectation, regardless of what happened, what the service was like.
Yeah, that didn't used to be an entitlement or an expectation. That was why you worked your ass off.
Yes, you had to work for that extra
Right.
tip,
Okay.
But I still act that way today. If I feel like that's a needy waitress that's doing that, it makes a difference. And if they're attentive, I mean...
Because not only, like you're saying, yeah, we always felt like work is just what we did, but it wasn't so much, it was also that we wanted to do our work well.
You always had room to do better, to get
But
one
you
step
wanted
ahead of
to
that
do
guy
a really
next to
good
you.
job. Like, if you were going to be doing something, you were going to, do it well and put your ass into it. And it's hard to see that now. Like, it's hard to get people to just
Well, it's
there on time.
I'm going to do less today because you're not doing nothing, so I'm going to do less. And that is just a
Sitting on your
common
phone.
problem. If I'm working alongside of you, I want to look at every step that I can get to where my supervisor can see that I'm more interested or I've got one more edge on you. I mean, that's the only way to improve. And that's what I tell the kids. You can always do more at your job when you're content with it. And that's what was fun and it's been interesting about barbecue because you never build a barbecue place and it just runs itself. I mean, it is, it's very labor intense and time consuming. And, what you put into it's a lot of what you get out of it. And that extra bit.
So everything that you had going on at the time led you to do this, and you're putting more on your plate though. Now you've got Friday night going into Saturday, but I can only imagine what this place is like on a Friday night. It's got to be really peaceful. It's quiet, and you're doing something that you really love. So yes, it's hard work, but also in that moment there has to be some joy because it's something that you chose to do. You decided on top of everything else, hey, we're going to do this thing. What's it like in the early days being here late at night when no one else is here before all the Texas monthly stuff happened? What was it like being out here together
Very
doing this?
peaceful. Very peaceful. A car once in a while. One of the law deputies or somebody would stop by, which I appreciated because if I'd have had any kind of trouble, I'd have had to call them. But this way, if anybody was lurking around and the law stopped in there, well, we're not going that way.
Right.
But that's where the big change has come about, where we have people coming in so early.
They're
Friday
trying to get a
afternoon
sneak peek
sometime.
Friday night.
Wow.
I mean, there's probably
Friday
been...
afternoon.
I usually come in now around 1 or 1:30, and there's probably been a handful of Friday nights since in the last 5 years that when I got here, there wasn't somebody already in line.
Sitting out here
Sitting
on the porch.
You know, there may be a van or a little camper. There's liable to be a tent popped in the front. I mean, there's been probably 3 to 5 Saturdays in 5 years that they're in the last 5 years. And, you know, prior to that, up until 2008, it's been that way.
That kind of takes the peace away.
I mean, it's quiet and peaceful. I mean, it's, but that's when you're in your zone. Like when she was there before, she knew her whole routine. She knew what she had to do. Nobody bothered it. It's, you know, all of you know that when an old friend comes and you're intensed in your day's duties, and it just throws a kink in everything. But no, that's a quiet time on Friday nights, and that's like Clay is today. He likes being up here and doing his job, and I said that about him a while ago, but it's, you know, he's been a blessing in disguise, one of many of mine. I mean, the meeting of him was a great time for both of us, you know, but you know, he's up here by himself. He don't want the radio on. Mm-hmm. It's his time, but he's very focused in what he's doing.
And hopefully people aren't trying to get you to be performative in what's happening just because they're here.
No, I mean, we kind of roped that off. This area here in the seating area, we kind of have it roped off to where they're not right up on you with cameras, because she'll show up early morning hours now. Well, everybody's gonna get that snapshot, but it's still peaceful and a very personal, rewarding, you know, craft, and seeing the people that come from all over the country. That's just very rewarding. I mean, again, we're so blessed with our format, Saturdays only, and you know, that's why we've kept it just like it is, you know, one day a week. That's what worked as a part-time gig, and that's still what works today.
What is it that you guys see out here from all the time being up here by yourselves before then and since? What do you see here that no one else really ever sees or will understand about this space? You know, it's like on my deck at Stanley's, every time I'm out there, whether it's busy or I'm there by myself, I have memories of where just the way things felt. You know, I proposed to my wife on our patio at Stanley's a long, long, long time ago. So I can be out there picking up trash and talking to somebody. And what I remember about the spot where I'm talking to somebody is I'm thinking about, I proposed to my wife right there. You know, they're never going to know that. They're never going to feel that. They're seeing something completely different. So what is it out here that you guys see and feel that no one else will ever be able to see?
When we're here together, it's usually a discussion of what this was before, or, you know, how it was 50 years ago, you know. I'm 59 now, and I got a decent memory, remember a lot, but we have a lot of good discussions of around here of what, you know, what it was before and how times have changed. But, you know, on a Friday night, it's, and you know, in cooking, it's different every week, you know. But looking at the area, I mean, a lot of it's just how times have changed, and
Well, how are things different when you had your place? How was cooking different? How was serving different? How were your guests different, or were they?
not a lot.
You were outside then too, right?
Huh?
Were you cooking outside as well then too?
Yeah,
right. Yeah. And so, I mean, you still had some of these.
I didn't
Elements.
have people coming in like they do now.
Yeah.
They didn't come. I mean, we would have a few people. Alcoa went to work at 7, 8 o'clock. They would stop by and pick something up and take with them to work. Or when they got off at 7, they would pick something up to take home with them.
Yeah.
That was our early trade. Where now they're here waiting for us to open up. Back then, I was waiting for them to come because customers would straggle in, but the greater number didn't come in until 10:30, 11 o'clock to get it for lunch.
And part of your menu was different then, like her pork. She liable to have steaks from an inch thick to 2.5 as we have today, but that was to have ready for them early workers.
Early
And,
birds.
you know, she knew in her mind who's coming. She'd know who's coming in that day for the most part, you know.
Yeah.
But
Like we used to have a guy who ran our place for a good number of years named Fred Fontaine. And every morning he'd leave about 7 o'clock to go to the downtown cafeteria to go have breakfast. And he would leave the shop and there would be about 5 or 6 of the church elders from St. Paul Lutheran's Church would sit up in the front table near the front door and drink coffee and have yesterday's dried sausage. And whatever that they went to pick, they would just leave a quarter up on the counter or whatever. And it was an honor system, and they watched the store while Fred was out while Fred was out having breakfast. And the rest of the place was wide open, and you know but it was a different time. I mean, people just did these things.
It was your hometown.
I mean, your customers were, you knew most of them.
You knew them.
Yeah,
Yes,
you
You knew
could trust them.
yes, for sure. And they were as predictable as the sunrise. And you know, you saw them. You saw them at church. You saw them during the week. You saw them. They would come in from there. They might work across the street or down the block or just up a couple of blocks. They all work downtown as well.
And you do see a lot that you're not supposed to see at 1 or 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, where her market was on a little busier street. But you see people out that are probably not supposed to be out at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Those are the characters, right?
Yeah.
One of our employees came home at 4 a.m., drove right by the shop.
Oh no.
Had to be at work at 7.
Yep, you knew where to find them. But you know, at that time, there was the guy who owned Taylor Meat Company at the time, Zimmer Hansel. He was telling me a story once about back when I was young. Yeah, you know, somebody didn't come into work. I'd go to their house, knock on their door, have their mama let me in the house. I'd go to their bedroom, pull them out of bed, and drag them off to work. They just, whatever they were wearing.
And that's probably so true. You didn't, you believed it 100%.
I did. And he's like, no, that's exactly how it went down. And I'm like, yeah, well, yeah, I believe that. That's how different things were. Because those things could and did happen.
We had a break-in at the school one year when we had the market. Night watchman or deputy came by and asked White, did you see anybody driving up towards school? Yeah, such and such color pickup. Okay. He went to that, he knew who the kid was that drove that type pickup. He's got ink all over his hands from the computers that he had.
The typewriters, yeah.
No. Oh man.
I don't know if he ever knew that White turned him in. Well, he didn't turn him in. He just said what was driving around.
Yeah, you can't get away with much in small towns. At least you couldn't back then. But even the police were different then. Like the police constables and sheriffs. Like if when I was in high school, if there were some kids who were drinking who shouldn't have been, but everybody's hanging out at what used to be like the Piggly Wiggly or the Foodland parking lot. Cops would just come, find out who was drinking, escort them home.
Take them home or
Yep.
right.
They would have them pour it out and just take them home. Escort them home or take them home. And would, you know, knock on the door and make sure the parents knew. But nobody was going to jail. There wasn't. The police seemed to were much more integrated into the community.
Yeah.
In a way that it was about peacekeeping more than it was patrolling.
Can you imagine being a police officer today?
No.
I mean,
Their lives are on the stake.
you know,
No, I can't.
it's just over nothing,
Yeah.
you know.
Over now.
You'll get shot over $3.
Yeah. So yeah, we've seen a lot of changes, and I don't know. I'm always fascinated to hear old stories. One of the best things I could remember doing when I was young, when I first started working for my dad, is on those mornings before I'd go to school, Dad may bring us down to the restaurant. If it was raining, we wouldn't ride our bikes, right? So I'd go down and I would sit with all the church elders and just listen to them talk about all the grapevine activity going on in Taylor. And just everybody knew everybody's business, you know. Everybody knew who was cheating on who. Everybody knew. I mean,
The Harper Valley PTA.
it was
We're
so
still in a
entertaining.
town of 1,000, so a lot of that still goes on
You know,
today.
my jaw's on the floor because, you know, I'm hearing things just like, oh, yeah, you remember Sally? Yeah, Sally married to Jim. Well, she was messing around with Cole coming in on the railroad, and he gave her a special horn every time he was coming into town, and he would blow it a certain way, and so she knew to meet up with him, you know, at wherever. It's like, what? He was like, oh, yeah, this is the way things went down.
You know, but so many people from bigger cities, they can't even appreciate this conversation at all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even the elderly didn't have this experience that we have in the country life.
Yeah.
You know, they don't have no idea what we're talking about.
And you know, everybody just kind of let everybody be. While everybody knew everybody else's business, everybody wasn't in everybody else's business, right? I mean, you knew who was sort of a shyster, and you knew who were the good people, and you knew who was doing some shady stuff, but it wasn't like there were mass movements to try to shut them down, to try to get them arrested, to, you know, out them publicly. It's like, you know, everybody already knows. Mm-hmm. It's just sort of all baked into the cake, right? That is what the community is composed of. And everybody just sort of accepted that these were the personalities, these were the actions and activities that happened, and it was your own reality TV show without realizing, you know, that things were actually different other places, you know.
And time just flies. I mean, you know, we've been here 23 years already.
Isn't that crazy?
You know, and your family's been in the barbecue, 60 or 70 years?
You know, we started in 46, so it's 80 years now. We started a business in 49, so, you know, 76, 77 to 80 years. It's a long time.
Crazy. Yeah. And yours didn't yours
Stanley's
family owned?
is 66 this year. Of course, I've only been there 21 years. And, but yeah, Stanley's has been 66 years, but it was two other barbecue places before that in the same place. So the history goes back even a little bit further.
And the 21 years just seems like yesterday, practically.
Really
I mean, it's, you know, you always said that older ones always tell you how time flies, and it's so true. I mean, the days get longer and the years get shorter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember at that time people telling me, you know, I had just had kids, and everyone was like, hey man, pay attention, it's gonna go real fast. So I'm like, oh yeah, sure. And now I'm saying that to people. You know, I've got a son who's getting ready to graduate high school and go to college, and it has just been like that.
Be a grandpa before you know it.
Hope not. I'm gonna wait a little while for that, if possible.
I had a different mindset. I didn't think they was gonna make it anymore. I started pretty young. I've got 9 grandkids now.
Did you really?
I had kids at 18 or 19.
What's your grandpa name?
Papa Snow.
Papa Snow.
But that was fairly typical, right? I mean, my
I don't
parents
know if
were,
it was
were
typical, but
they were married by the time they were 20.
more common then.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it was just so great that my son, he was 25 or 6 before he got married. That was. What's that look for?
We're here
Something
20
different.
We're here 23, and he was 4.
He was, he'd born
He
in
must have been 22 when he
99.
married, huh?
He just been married a year. His anniversary was last week. This coming week.
Coming week.
Yeah, he just been married a year.
Tootsie, how old were you when you got married?
21.
21. And did you feel like that was the right time? Did you feel like there was a lot of your friends had already been married, or how was that?
A lot of my friends were married.
Yeah.
White and I dated for 6-7 years before we married.
Really?
Did he go back to the service during that time? So
He
you
was
met him.
in-
He was done when you.
He was in a reserve for a year when he came home. He was 28. Yeah, he turned 28 the year we married. I mean, he wasn't in no rush, and I guess I wasn't either. So we just
How long until you had kids? After you got
the
married?
next year.
Yeah.
And how long have y'all known each other?
The what?
I mean, she's known me 59 years. I've known her when I was older. Than
When started learning.
she was raised and all. We've got Daddy had a place there close and kind of in the cattle and all. And I mean, yeah, she knew me way before. I remember going into school, like in high school. I remember going into her market. It was, barbecue was just on Saturdays for them. They, cooked what they had left or whatever. But I remember going in and having a sandwich for lunchtime, getting a sandwich and a bag of chips and a drink for $1.85. I say, I want pressed ham today, but she'd pull it out of there and slice it, and you go to the back, and there's a loaf of bread, jar of mayonnaise, you go back there and make your sandwich. And that was a lot of the working people, the actual local working people did that for years. I mean, going to lunch. And now you go, and they're at the cafe with a fish basket about the size of a hubcap. How in the hell can you go do anything with work after that?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, just access, public
Well, access
access,
is-
right, was different, right? People like locals in Taylor would come in through the back door, through the kitchen entrance, stop at the restrooms, which were in the kitchen, and then go around front and order. You knew somebody was from out of town if they walked in the front doors, because everybody from Taylor walked in the back.
Back door.
Yeah.
And her market was kind of the same.
Yeah.
It was, they'd go out to the pit first.
Yeah.
A lot of time.
We had ice cream spoons. That's the old timey.
The old
and
battles
and
that
point them,
Yeah.
write their name on it, stick it in that steak.
Okay.
I mean, you get
Nobody else could
you get
it.
there
It was
10 or
stone.
11, there'll all be steaks all in that.
Well, somebody done been here. I can't find the steak I like. Well, you should have been earlier. When they had come, I've got a steak out on the pit, and somebody would come out there and get the steak, weigh it up for them.
And it was predictable. I mean, it just happened every week, right? I mean, this is
We had butcher paper
yeah.
up there. Had a standing order every week. 10, 12, 15 people.
Yeah.
Their name got up there first because standing order.
Yeah. And they've been doing that for years.
And I remember they would come in on Friday evening. They'd go home. I guess you lived in Giddings the
We
whole
lived in
time. They'd
Giddings.
leave Friday, go home, and then they'd come back Friday night.
We wouldn't even go home Friday.
On Friday, they'd stay. They'd sleep on them.
Come up
them
Friday
benches.
morning
Oh, really?
with close for Saturday. Spend the night here Saturday night.
Friday night.
Friday night. Put the 4 benches together and had an old cotton mattress that we rolled up and throwed it on the benches.
Wow.
We was in air conditioning. We was in the warmth. Sleeping in the back of the pit.
And that's what, when I thought about it with her, how she had cooked over there, is it that much difference? I mean, the sizes are a little bit bigger, but I thought she's going to think she's at Holiday Inn with this big cover over here, wood dry and all. And that's part of the reason she finally got fed up is she'd come in on Friday night to cook. Well, she may have wood, may not, may be wet, may, I felt like these conditions were going to be, a win, and they have been. I mean, it works. I mean, we're pretty.
We had a roof. We had a little windbreak from the north and a little windbreak from the east. And the rest of it was all open.
Yeah.
Yeah, blowing rain, they were wet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hearing about people cooking outside, And I think about all the hoops that we had to jump through in Dallas just to be able to put a barbecue pit there.
Exactly.
I bet.
was-
Yeah.
Out of control. You'd think that we were trying to land somebody on the moon or something like that. They were so confused by the whole thing. I'm like, it's not that hard. We don't need all the vent hoods and all that kind of stuff. I can take the smokestack out that wouldn't have it.
Yeah.
The inspector.
Round and round and round. $100,000.
And that's the way it
just
is.
to
You look
figure
at
out how
'em.
to make the city happy with something. You know.
I mean, all of her cooking was all direct. I mean, there wasn't a smoker. It was all, and their burn, this burn box
Fire
that we've
box.
got now is like a Cadillac to a Fiat. I mean, they had it was cut, had a roof over it, but if it was raining and blowing, it was a battle to keep and get
And it
wood.
was out in the open. It didn't
It didn't have a cover on it. It just
didn't
had
have
an old
no
plate.
cover.
I mean, you drive by Friday night coming in, you see the old thing burning out there. It's ready, and it was,
Well, that's the reason we had that tin across the top.
and then
Keep
later
some
you
of the
had a
rain off.
piece of sheet metal over it. I remember they upgraded
Yeah.
and had a nice piece of sheet metal over it.
Do you feel like the way you cook has evolved from what it was like when you had the market to where it is now? Or do you feel like you're pretty much doing the same thing that you've always done?
For my pits here, it's the same thing. For the indirect heat, I'm lost with it.
Yep. So this is your comfort zone right here.
This is my comfort
and
zone.
seasoning, mop, none of that has changed from what she did forever.
So walk us through a Friday night. What were you cooking on a Friday night at the market?
Over there,
Yeah.
whatever we had raw, T-bones, club steaks, ribeyes, ribs.
Yep.
There was many a weekend we had the whole sirloin,
Yeah.
not the little sirloins you get divided out now in box beef. It was hanging beef, and we used the whole sirloin.
But that was typical of meat markets back in the day. That's how
it
you
was the model.
That's one
Yeah.
reason meat markets started barbecuing on Saturday,
Yeah.
to
And
get
y'all
rid
make
of the old meat.
And y'all would make your own sausage.
We made our own sausage from all the ribs that we can gather up, use during the week. Sometime we wouldn't have enough. We'd have to buy some from Giddings, trim it up, season it.
But that's when meat come in a quart or whatever. When the truck delivered them, I mean, I remember seeing her go back and grab a, quarter side of beef out of the walk-in cooler and come in and throw it on that big table behind there, and picture that to this day.
Yep. I mean, Dad's the same way. They, meat market, they would go quarters and halves, right? And they would just break it down during the week, and whatever didn't move made its
And
way onto the pit.
See, my husband was butchering in Giddings, so he would come up Thursday, Friday. Well, Mr. Duvall would come up maybe on Monday mornings to break me some quarters down till we bought it, and then White came up here. But I mean, I always had somebody to break it down for me. Well, one day I got caught with something and I didn't have anything broke down, and I've got to make a sale. So I went out, got that quarter out of the fruit cooler, and broke it down. If it was right or wrong, I don't know, but it got broke down.
Y'all know.
But just, and there again, by just watching what the men had always done at the market in Giddings, paying attention to what was going on. Now, like we was talking to kids nowadays, they don't pay attention. I'll get done what I get
Do
done.
what they're supposed to do, and that's it.
That's not my job.
You're missing out on the whole point. I mean, you learn all of it. And
Exactly.
It's so much more rewarding, but people are so worried about getting taken advantage of, or I don't know.
We had a lady working for us, and Herschel had come up. He said, anything I throw on this block now, he told the lady, said, trim it up for hamburger meat. So, okay. Well, he brings his hind quarter out with the tail on it. He cut it off and just threw it over on the block to lay it in the counter. She grabs that tail and she's trimming and trimming. We had not watched her. she finally said, "Is this enough off of that?" She had trimmed that tail.
Then got everything off. Who was that?
You, Jay, Shamon.
2 hours later, she's got it all deboned. That's
And I mean,
crazy. Yeah.
You have to appreciate or know what
for a
what
pound
the
and a
tail looks
for a
like.
pound and a half of meat. That's just
Because
nuts.
it's just sections this
There-
way.
Yeah.
Nothing on it.
I mean, is there anybody in Texas still doing that? Are there any true meat markets that are cooking on Saturday like they used to do back in the day, or is that gone?
I don't.
I don't know if, I've never asked Giddings if they butcher any for themselves. I think everything's gone boxed beef.
I mean, you get a lot of grass feds and people now that are actually doing it for personal ones, but nothing like it used to be. I mean, you know, everything is brought in box, but there's still a lot of home butchers that there's actually a mobile one in our county that will come to your place and completely process it, cool it, and vacuum seal it.
Is he from Fayette County?
I'm not sure where he's from,
I've
actually.
seen
but
him come through Giddings quite often.
I mean, it's a big old trailer, that'll complete deal. You know, where you see that a lot of time is whether you've got an animal that's, you know, ruptured or whatever, or a lot of the livestock show kids, you know, their project will not make it and they want to butcher it. But no, you don't see a complete setup hardly. I mean, processing and stuff, I had some friends that have grass-fed, you know, and it was hard time finding processors that even kill anymore, you know, on a smaller scale. And they're permitting and labor and everything else. It's the same process, you know, it's work.
It is.
Well, Giddings has said one reason they're not butchering except one day a week, the insurance is so expensive
Really?
for kill floors. It's so dangerous.
Yeah. Well, especially if that kill floor is 80 years old.
Oh my, that was so. I used to haul cattle, and I'd haul to San Antonio to L&H packing, and to be able to walk through there as a 16-year-old boy was like I was in a museum. I mean, right here, they're in the pen. They come through there and they're shot in the head there with that air hammer, and then right here they're hanging in 3/4 skin. I mean, it was.
It's very interesting.
Oh, it
We were
was
seeing that at the
amazing.
A&M, their barbecue camp, going through kill floor and everything like that, and it was an
I
incredible.
mean, you can
experience.
imagine at that
Hanging
time they
beef.
were killing
You
850 a
don't
day.
use hanging beef.
You know, and that's not a real big one, but I remember that number. They were killing like 850 a day.
No, but I do remember that from my childhood. I do. When Dad was butchering at the grocery store. Oh, yeah, I remember that quite well. He had an old water press for his sausage stuffer.
Sausage stuff.
Yeah.
And it took up a whole room. That thing was enormously large. And it was like a dungeon because it had like one light bulb in it. And it was just all dark walls everywhere around you. And
But
this
them
is like-
old water stuffers, I mean, they made it until I don't know if there's some still available, but the old ones, they made it till not too many years ago.
oh yeah, they were indestructible, it seemed
Yeah.
like. Yeah, but they were just so huge. So when Dad moved over to the restaurant, he decided he didn't want the grocery store. All they had was, one of those hand crank 5-gallon. Yeah.
Ooh.
And he brought that over with him, and that's what he used from like 74 to 2000. That's how he stuffed sausage, like 3 days a week. It's like, God dang. And I call the thing Cranky, and because it's how my dad's demeanor was when he got finished making sausage. He was never in a good mood. And he broke that thing, I don't know how many times, because it was cast iron. Mm-hmm. And he would start cranking on it hard, lifting it up off the table, and it would drop back down on the table, and he'd crack that casing. Like, God damn.
When did y'all make sausage at the market?
On the back porch.
But I mean, when? That Thursday or Friday?
Thursday morning.
And how many pounds would you make?
300, 350.
Nice, yeah. That's a lot of sausage.
Mm-hmm.
And did y'all do them in long links, or did you do them? How did you sell them out?
They'd be about this long, and then we'd twist them in the middle, and we'd hang them across the rod.
Yeah. Hanging them on the rod.
That's
Yeah.
what we still do.
Yeah. So many people now run them on the grill, you know?
Much prettier project, and it'll yield a lot better. I've just never found that. I like cooking them over direct.
Yeah.
Like when we went to the festival last week in Troubadour, we cook it
They
over that
taste
direct.
different.
And you can,
Yeah.
So much different, right?
it's a world of difference. And that's like that pork steak. I mean, you can cook that pork steak indirect or direct, and it's like two totally different cuts of meat. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just unreal how much difference it'll taste.
Yeah, that heat and charring really.
But getting that sausage good and hot with that casing on.
Now, the pork sausage, we would tie one end and then stuff it.
Oh, yeah.
You just-
And just rope it up. Yeah, Dad used to do
Well,
that.
and then tie the other end that we could hang the string on the rod.
Did y'all smoke and cook that there, or did you just
We
preserved
smoked
it
it in the winter time.
and then sold it
Through
as
the
like
counter.
breakfast sausage? But you still had to cook it when you got home.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, so my dad did the same thing. He had two different varieties, and it always freaked me out because it was only winter. It started in like October, and he finished maybe late
Easter.
February. Yeah, right around Easter, and he had old beer flats, right? The beer cans came in. One side was just one end was cut off, and he'd have these links of sausage about this long that he had made, that he had smoked. He had stuck in there, and they sat on the counter for as long as they were there to sell. Like if it took them 4 days for somebody to buy that sausage, then it sat on that counter for 4 days. Never saw refrigeration.
No, and they never have nobody get sick, neither.
Never.
Well, he didn't use a curing salt in
He
it.
did. He used cured salt. But I mean, it just, when I think back on it, it's like, so we had raw sausage up there.
And you think how many places barbecue or old grocery store beer joints you go in and have those slab of cheese on the counter.
Oh yeah.
You know, they cut the mold off and cut you a good piece. Shit. I mean, it liable to be old summertime. You see it oozing.
Yeah, it'd be all lopsided.
Well,
Yeah,
summer
it-
sausage used to always be hanging in the
Yep.
store. It never in refrigeration.
Nope, it'd get moldy on the outside there too, that white mold that would form on it. And
Wash it off.
it was not a problem. Never. I never thought twice about any of that stuff until, I came back and got into business and started visiting with health department people.
Do you guys pay attention to what everybody else is doing though? Do you care about lists? Do you care about the evolution of barbecue? Does it matter?
We are doing today, really and truly, for the most part, what Tootsie did in 76, 80s. And I mean, we started in 2003. We have changed menu practically zero. We've changed the cooking methods a little and added, I think, turkey and a jalapeno sausage. Other than that, there has
And I had no sides.
on Saturdays in her market, that's what you'd have a bag of chips or onion or whatever. You bring your sides with you, but we've changed very little. I mean, everybody has gone to the crafty and all, and no, we're not chasing a list. We're very thankful and blessed to be considered, but we do what we do, and it's traditional barbecue. When they get to the table and they don't like it, it ain't because it wasn't added to all
Ain't
the
our
extra.
fault. They just wanted
it's-
too much.
It's just different, but the consistency, I think, it's huge. Your meat quality varies so damn much, but the quality and the consistency of our cooked product we're there. Do we make errors? Sure we do, but it's and it's so funny now. And I said earlier how people travel so far. As I'll get somebody on Saturday that's their third, fourth, fifth time. They may be bringing somebody new, and that's very rewarding when they love being in your neck of the woods in Dallas or somewhere, and they come for a third or fourth time down here. But we're just pretty traditional, and I feel like a lot of the barbecue has, transformed into more crafty and different things, and it's understandable of what they're trying to, cater to. We've been blessed to be able to keep it pretty damn traditional, and that's what it is.
Well, you started doing this for a totally different reason than a lot of people. People are opening barbecue joints and barbecue trailers now because they want to be on a list. They want to be recognized, you know, for doing this thing and pushing the boundaries. And I mean, it was a totally different reason.
I feel like the list, and I learned this after, I didn't know it, but in 2008 when we got recognized, I think you could go name a top 10, you know, that a top 5, a top 10, a top 20. Today, I mean, to me, there's no possible way that you can, especially in rank them. I mean, if you go to a top 50, 50 can be number 1 and be legit, and 1 can be 50 and be legit. I mean, it's just a personal opinion, you know, and it was very strange to learn in 2008 how many really good ones there were. I'd have thought there's a lot of them, and there was not in 2008. I mean, you had Wayne and them, you had the Lockhart group, you had, I mean, we kind of bumped Coopers and Lano out, you know, and I didn't say bump them out, but that's kind of where, when we came in, but there was a handful of them that were nostalgic that were always there. And now they're still in the business doing the same thing, and we're fortunate enough too, but they're just looking at a different, I guess their reader clientele is different today, and a lot of things have changed, but to be able to make a 50 list it's really hard to do just a general 50. You know.
A lot of them are going with more glaze on it.
You know, there's all their seasons and, you know, and it's an
Well,
entree.
changing their season, I guess.
Ours is coming on a tray.
Is there,
Like Wayne's
is there
in it.
any part about these new processes that you guys don't respect? Is there any part of it that you think is cutting corners, or is it?
I don't think any
think
of it.
so.
That's one thing we hadn't touched on, and Wayne can probably elaborate, is how rewarding it is for the people that are in the barbecue, how supportive they are of one another. There's not another, I mean, restaurants, they're competing. I don't feel like we have ever been
I
competing.
don't think barbecue competes.
You know, there is enough to go around.
We're a love family, knit family.
It's amazing of how the quality of our customer base and the people that are behind. I mean, Wayne's phone burned up when I opened this up and started. You know, there were so many people that were, and it's that way today. You know, when somebody starts, you can reach out and find some help, and some sincere help. You know, that's probably been as rewarding as any of it, is how tight-knit behind the scenes the owners are together.
Yeah, I met you in 2010 at the first Texas Monthly Barbecue Festival. That's where I met a lot of folks. I didn't meet you that year. It was the year after. But it was a barbecue event. And it seems like those relationships that happened back then, when we all got pushed out into this new spotlight, right? We all were finding each other and coming together more than we were. There was no competition. There was no...
Never.
It was
Cutting
all
throats.
it was a huge embrace. It was glad to know someone else who's going through the same stuff. And, you know, like, to this
I mean,
day,
the Texas Monthly event, I lost 20 years of my life stressing over that event. I wanted to take my product that's good on Saturday
yeah.
and serve it 4 or 5 hours later. We didn't go over there and cook. And how to do that? I mean, there's so many people that, you know, got me to where we can finally do it, but it was stressful.
It really was.
You know, the Texas Monthly event, there's so many new ones that come in that you really had no good guidance of what to expect.
Right.
And I remember when Ronnie Killen got it, you know, he took enough meat to feed 2 branches of Army over there that first year, and it was great, but anyway,
He was giving away whole beef ribs. You know, not kidding.
and it's no different today. I mean, we're thankful and blessed, but we went to Troubadour.
You wasn't at Troubadour?
I wasn't there. My crew was there with, I think y'all were all in Matt's tent.
Because I thought I saw
Okay.
your name,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, it was my son's senior prom, and my daughter.
That's
went to
right.
prom
I remember hearing that
with
now.
one
what
of
he
his
told us.
friends, and
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? This is something I got to be a part of.
But that's always a stressful time. It used to be. It's not near as stressful anymore. It's like going to an event or something. We don't cater, and we don't cater because if it's not something we can do and do well, we don't do it just every now and then. We'll provide product on a Saturday sometimes for an event in a larger quantity, but it's very rewarding, like I said, of all the people and the thanks. There's so many more to thank that, for our success than us. I mean,
And we talked earlier about getting bad reviews from people who don't seem to understand the history of what we do and the history of our places and those traditions. And it's strange that they come in here with an expectation that it's supposed to be something other than what you do. And then they get mad about that. And that just drives me crazy because the tradition of what you're doing here clearly goes back a really long time. And someone from California might come in and say,
I thought we would get a really bad one this week at Troubadour last week. Somebody, barbecue ticket edition was from 12 to 3. Well, somebody come by at 3:30, and we were actually still rocking, and we had just quit. And she didn't get no barbecue, and she threw a wall-eyed fit that she paid $50 for this ticket, and ain't nobody got no barbecue left. But a lot of reviews on a Saturday, I give them, and I never have run and look at reviews. I mean, I've read less of mine than you
I'm
have.
gonna have to go. I got another job to do.
You got to get.
Yeah.
But it's back to reviews. It's, a lot of times we'll get a bad one and you read them, and like I was telling Justin earlier, they may not have ever been here. I mean, there's so many people that strive for negative, and that's sad about a lot of locals. They're envious of our success, and that's, if I don't write a review, but I mean, if so many of them that you see, like you said, you can really look at their wording, if they really wrote something, and they may not have ever been there.
Yeah, sometimes you wonder because the things that they say, it's like, well,
That didn't happen here.
Half of the things you're talking about, we don't offer, don't describe us.
Discuss part of your menu. Well, we don't even have that.
I've seen that before, photos of the food, and I'm like, that's not even what served food like that. That's not a.
And then I have got to where I'll look at it. If I get a subpar review, I'll look at it, and if you'll look at how many reviews that person does, and how many of them are positive. That's all they do is negative reviews.
Yep. Literally everywhere they go, too.
It's
I saw something yesterday looking for a restaurant to eat in Dallas. And just, the reviews are right there, so I saw it. And I was just like, it's someone who owns a top-notch restaurant and someone who we all know. They're in the Michelin Guide. They've done nothing but receive high praise for everything they've done forever and ever and ever. And so I see this review and they're just like, man, it's okay. And I was just like, really? What else has this person reviewed? And I was gas station where they got gas, McDonald's, some other high-end restaurant, like literally every single place they go in the course of their day. This is the worst McDonald's ever. Don't go to this one. I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
How much time do you have?
And I don't, like I said, I don't.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Tootsie, I might have to sit up there sometime.
We keep saying she's not working and I'm not working. We still don't do nothing.
I'm sorry I got to leave. It's okay.
Yeah, Tootsie, turn around and get a picture. Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Doyle's son's buying a bull, and we got to bring it back to Keith. So I've got to bring him up here.
You handling that bull?
No, I ain't handing him. We'll just watch him.
She can.
Thank y'all.
No doubt.
She can.
Great to see you,
She
Tootsie.
can, without a doubt.
Be careful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They're really coming here to write a bad review. And that's one thing on us. It's gotten out there is a sell out by 9 or 10. We're not doing that. We're serving most everybody, and have been for quite
But
some
even
time.
if you were,
Yeah,
there's nothing you can do.
and that's
about
not really
that.
on negative reviews. I was just looking at touching
Sure.
the listening base. Is that we normally serve everybody.
You cook as much food as you can based on what you know about the time of year. You do the best you possibly can. Sometimes more people show up than you might have been expecting. No matter how many times you've done this, and as long as you've done this, you still don't know how to predict the future. Sorry, everybody. We don't know how to predict the future.
Mr. Ball's
100%.
broken every once in a while.
And again, that's a lot of ours. I can tell that first hour or two, you know, as far as number. But being that we ship as much as we do, we're able to load up. But you know, here at 8 o'clock, there's not but 60 people in line. Well, damn, it ain't gonna get much better than that today, because you come here, you didn't wake up at 9 and say, I'm gonna run by Snow's and grab something. I mean, we get some locals that come by and some regulars, but you know, I can pretty well predict it when we open up what it's gonna be that day. Mm-hmm. And for the most part, we 4 or 5 weeks ago, we actually had an abnormal heavy crowd and actually ran out of everything. That's the first time I've sold out of everything, including a bean, that, you know, in years. I mean, we didn't have nothing left. But that's not very often.
I'm sure you feel this way too. You understand that people make an enormous effort just to come here, right? I mean, they dedicate time, money, their resources of their life just to come spend some time in line and have an experience with you. The last thing you would ever want is to sell out and not fulfill that individual's, you know, expectations.
And there's been a lot of negative days like that. I mean,
but it's hard, right? I mean, it bothers you. It bothers me.
Oh, that line around the block that I can't communicate in one speech is, that was, I mean, I was thankful, but I did not like it.
Yeah.
You know, I want to be able everybody to get served. And for the most part, everybody gets served.
We used to get beat up for that all the time. People talking about how we were manufacturing the line and we were intentionally moving. We moved as fast as we possibly could move. The more people I could push through that line, the better off we were. And I never understood why people thought that was manufacturing.
And it's looking at reviews. It's always fun to see somebody commented they stood in line 3 hours, and then them getting a debate with somebody that, you know, I wouldn't stand in line for 3 hours for nothing. And, you know, that's a lot of them they want to do. And we're very fortunate to make their experience as the best it can, from the umbrellas, the weather, the open free bar, the music, the raffles we do. I do a raffle when we open up. Used to do 2, you know, because the line was so long, and now we can usually get it done in one. Is, you know, interact. That I can tell that morning when I interact with that raffle really how it's going to go and how the tips are going to be for the day. You know, you can learn to detect that, but you know, giving people a little of your time and the fact that we're out in the open and our setup here is really cool.
It's incredibly cool.
You know, it's they can watch all night long what we do, and they can watch all night who does what, and it's
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. It's like, it's about the most picturesque setup and experience that you can have in Texas barbecue right now. It's just one of those things that if you haven't experienced, then you really have missed out on something.
And I feel the same way about it being that way at your place.
That is right. You know, you walk through them doors, it's like, oh wow, you're in
takes your breath
the
away.
holy
It's like,
smoke
oh,
of
man.
barbecue, and there's a lot of them that are indifferent. I mean, just when you signed up, you know, it's not available to really duplicate, you know, what you want to in some of the towns and stuff, and it's so hard. I mean, we're very fortunate to be out here in the country, and you know, we're inspected.
You could not do this in the big city.
No,
You
you
could
can't. You
not
can't get away
have
with this.
in the big city.
You know, and I mean, we've got some great sponsors, you know, partner sponsors that are allowed us, you know, the Still Austin, the Lone Stars, the Tito's, you know, it's a good combination of things that makes it very interesting and unique here.
I think the drive here is just as much of a part of it for me personally.
And you get a lot of feedback. That last 50 miles of getting here, you're in nowhere.
I love it, but that's part of it to me. That's part of what sends me back, you know, to see my grandparents when they lived in Buda way back in the day when I lived in Austin.
Buda was in the country.
It was.
I mean,
yeah,
we'd go pick up feed as a kid in Buda, and it was in the country. It was much different than this.
But just, driving the Texas 2 lane,
Yep.
especially this time of year, you got all the wildflowers everywhere.
Bluebonnet everywhere.
It's,
Trees are in bloom.
It's you just
All
can't.
the pecan trees are just.
Yeah, they're starting to sprout and
Yeah.
bloom. It's just, to me, it's just,
It's a different smell in the air.
yeah, it's joy. I didn't get to come and have some snows at the end of that journey today, but
Well,
glad to be here.
give you a reason to come back. Yeah, it's always fun about 3 or 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Somebody's car alarm is going to go off, and you're just cringing, waiting on a neighbor to call, cussing. And we're fortunate enough to be in a neighborhood of rentals for the most part, but we don't catch much flack. Parking the auction barn down the street, when they're really crazy. A lot of times they'll park out in that lot usually, but by 11 or 12 when they're getting going, ours are gone. Like I said, I couldn't have drawn this up any better than what it's kind of
You made it up.
created. It's
Yep.
and our online, our shipping is, continues to grow. But again, we're not really looking to grow any more than we are. I mean, we're kind of the place where we are comfortable.
Right.
If I was 30 again with this recognition, I'd have ran with it wide open. And that's why I opened it, is I was always dibbling in with something to make another dollar, a little here, a little there. And it, our cooking quantity has definitely changed, but for the most, nothing has changed other than that to amount to anything other than the bathrooms and the facilities here have gotten changed a little, but not a lot.
Assuming that it's going to continue that way no matter what. This is Snow's Barbecue. This is what Snow's Barbecue is going to be.
I hope it to be able to continue. The kids, a couple of the kids have taken interest and are, a part of the Saturday activities, and I hope it continues. Miss Tootsie still comes in and takes pictures and does a little, what I'm having trouble with, she'll fix or help or season beans or do whatever. But it's, I'm hoping it'll continue on,
Do the kids ever cook?
Yeah, they do. If I'm not here on a Saturday now, it's tough. It would be hard, That's one of the spots that needs to be, and I've told them, and I don't push it on them. If you don't want to learn it, and if I kick tomorrow, then you've been told. It's, and Clay has really been a huge He does all the internet cooking, and he's just really does very good at what he does. Very attentive.
That's hard to find.
That
Still hard
is
to find right now.
so hard to find. Like I said, he had done some different things, and we met. Again, everything happens for a reason, and there's so many things in Snow's history has happened for a reason. Tootsie losing a husband and a son without the barbecue family, it'd have been tough.
I mean, in like a couple of months, right?
You're right.
He lost both
Right.
of them in like 2 months.
There's everything happens for a reason, and Clay's deal, he come by here at the right time, and again, it all happens. And that's what I tell the kids, is just always do what's right. It's not always the most profitable thing at the time, but do what's right. And,
That's right.
and I think good things happen to good people, when you try and do things right.
So you're saying there's no regrets then of opening this place?
No, it has been. And again, there's one thing. I mean, it was very challenging. I'm still married after 31 years. That's, which now she takes a little part in. If somebody's wanting interest in it today, make sure your significant other, if you have one, is very interested also, because it's very tough. If you're gonna do it and do it right, you've got to be there a lot. Not necessarily all of it, but you've got to.
It's all in. It is all in.
I mean, I've got my cousin Marty B's up there in Dallas. He instills good people in them, puts good people in them positions, and is okay with it. But to me, it's me open up a second or a third one. We've had the opportunity to do a lot. In College Station, I mean, it was just laid out, but it wasn't of interest. I mean,
You
I
know,
had,
it's funny you should say that because Kreitz opened up in College Station at one point.
Oh,
And it did horribly. They tried to bring their Lockhart traditions with them, like no forks and knives, no
you know, Cooper's
barbecue
is
sauce.
over there now, and I haven't been in it, but
It got crushed because of it. They just won't accept those traditions
No,
implanted into a new community.
you know, I think we could have done okay, but again, what you've really got to devote and times, you know, that's like with my online opportunity. I had a huge online proposition that was
I think you did that first
maybe,
out of anybody.
What?
So shipping like that.
well, it really got put on me to, on Saturday, I've got, at that time, you know, maybe 20 or 30 briskets. I got 5 left. What I do? I don't warm them up. I don't sell chopped beef, you know, other than we make it right in front of you. You know, what can I do with this product to be able to cook more and not be at risk of having a lot left? I mean, doing that in 2008 and didn't give it much attention, 2008 till 9 or I don't know when I really gave it some more attention. It was okay to get rid of what I had, but it wasn't an appealing online business that some of them had. And again, that can be, some effort can be put in that myself and definitely, you know, kick it to a different gear, but I don't really want a different gear.
And that's fine.
You know, that we're in a
You don't have
position to
to.
where, like I said, I felt like there was a lot of opportunity that I would have gave anything to have had that chance to 20 years prior, and now I'm getting some of this opportunity. I don't want it, you know. And I don't want no different. I want Saturdays only, and that's part of, you know, the negative reviews is why not open another day? Well, you know, barbecue costs just times the money, however many days you're open, practically, other than a little dispersal of electricity. But you know, it didn't fit our program to be open anymore.
Quality of life matters the older you get.
Oh, it does, and like I said, the kids have seen it and the interest in it, and I think we'll continue to go on. I mean, that's like at the festival the other day. I said something about pork rather than brisket, and we do a little old slider, slaw, Hawaiian rolls, brisket, and that's kind of what we do. And she said that's not what we're known for as a pulled pork. We're known for the brisket, so we rock along and do it. But it's definitely been fun and very interesting. If you'd have tried to explain this to Tootsie or I 20 years ago, you couldn't have done it.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
you got people at 8 o'clock in the morning lined up for bar. What the shit are you full of shit? You know, had we not seen this with our country asses, you couldn't have convinced us of what's going on today in barbecue.
You know, though, you landed right, I mean, you were right smack in the middle of the farm to table movement, right smack in the middle of the launch of the Food Network and the discovery of 80 plus million avid foodies out there that were looking for content, looking for somebody to sort of coalesce around. And nothing lends itself to all of those ideals better than this, right? I mean, being in the country, being large slabs of meat that just is cooked right in front of you. It's not processed, it's just done. And it just hit every single note imaginable. Add to that just the mystique that nobody could cook fucking brisket, you know? That you are now a high priest of you know, the mystical, you know,
and
religion.
Our geographical area amongst some of the already known greats was really, that's a great location. I mean, you've got Mueller's and Taylor, you've got the Lockhart group, you know, you had the Austin. We were in a great location
Oh, for sure.
around.
Oh, for sure. And I'm telling you, it was, I say this about Aaron too, right place, right time, right product, and right look, right idea, right lifestyle. All of it was right. For the urban environment, he hit a home run. For the rural environment, you hit the home run. I mean, you guys just fit because you were who you are, doing what you do, not trying to develop a concept. And in every other aspect of restaurant life, it's all about developing concepts. So you go against the mold and you strike the chord that it drives all like TV producers nuts because they can't control this shit. They think they can, but they can't. And you guys just,
That's
are
like
who
with
you
the
are.
Netflix film during the pandemic. I mean, I'd actually turned them down, you know, and I had a call that said, you need to look at that. That's a pretty big deal. But she had gotten, I mean, I felt like we were where we needed to be or whatever, and she wasn't real easy to deal with in front of a camera all the time, and I didn't want no more strain on her than we had. And anyway, by doing that, that was big.
That was big.
That was big.
That's international big, you know?
It's amazing how much international attention we get. You know,
Oh,
that was big.
it's you know, as sad as it is to say, that's the stamp of legitimacy in our world today. Fame is the stamp of legitimacy. And having your own damn Netflix special is about as legit as it gets in our media-driven world today. So, yeah, man, it couldn't have happened to a greater dude in a greater place.
Well, like I said, there's so many and that's where I'm harder on today. I want a true story told. I've got a film crew coming in a couple of weeks. You know, we're not going to bullshit anything. I want a true story told of our operation, how it is. And again, there's been, for the most part it has, but sometimes there's things said and people portray that Miss Tootsie does everything. I mean, as far as brisket, I mean, I read a review this week that her brisket is the best they've ever eaten. Well, I'm okay with that comment, but I'm not going to try to portray that she cooks brisket. I mean, from day one, you know, has probably never cooked brisket. Now, ribs were cooked on these pits and moved over. And again, it ain't nothing to take away from her. I'm not trying to ride her coattail and portray something that we're not. I mean, I want people to walk up here on Saturday morning, they see what they heard, they thought they were going to see.
Right.
And a lot of that is different now. When she comes in here, like Saturday, rolled in at 7:30, you know, the 100 people in line saw what all goes, but it's her barbecue, and I'm fine with that. I mean, I have a hard time with Clay sometimes, and he understands everything. If you walk up to me on Saturday morning and say that was the best damn brisket I ever had, I'm not going to tell you thank you. I'm going to tell you, you know, Clay did it. And, you know, there's times that's been said with him standing beside her, and it's just give credit where credit's due. And there's so many, from yourself to so many of them that have made this possible to keep on, that, you know, we're very appreciative of. And like I said, somebody's got to drive the car, but there's been a lot to help us get to where we're at.
Well, I mean, you've been one of the truly great, and I think real ambassadors for all of us through your
Well, it's
your
a
years
thank
here,
you,
your
and that's
23
back
years.
to that. It takes, I think, everybody help, you know, whether it's directly or indirectly. I mean, everybody that's open today is contribute for me. I mean, you know, that we're going to get personnel off of Texas barbecue, but it's something that hasn't been easy, and it was definitely, I didn't have a clue what the shit I was doing when I started it. It ain't like something I had a long neck. I mean, we did cook-offs a little, but this has been a self-learned experience, totally.
What do you think about cook-offs compared to what you do?
Oh my gosh, I mean, we'll close in a couple of weeks. They have one here local that we closed for because people can't get around. And I mean, you can't even put cook-offs in our business in the same conversation. I mean, it's no parts of it.
Yeah.
I mean, when Tootsie was recognized in Kansas, I mean, I really got some behind the scenes look at really good cookers, and thinking y'all messing up some good product. But it's different.
It's different, but it is those guys' version of what the barbecue festivals became for us.
Right.
It's their way of gathering, seeing each other,
And
camaraderie.
it's very interesting that somebody can go to a cook-off and consistently do good. That's pretty
right.
impressive.
Given the judging,
very impressive.
just giving the way the judging is.
It
you
is
know?
exactly. I did our cook-off here and ran it for about 6-8 years, and that is very impressive that somebody can go and continuously, do good. We have some good ones that come here and cook that are really known and have done good on the circuit. And this little cook-off, they may not do nothing. And it's actually sanctioned now with some consistency of judging, but it's very interesting. And that's like the craft barbecue today. There's nothing negative about it. It's just a total different approach than what, we do here.
And it's homogenized. Especially when you talk about brisket, so much brisket now is all cooked exactly the same way. They use the same equipment, they use the same process, they use more or less the same rubs and the same quality of meat.
Quality of meat is one thing that I feel good about us. We have used a select choice brisket from day one.
How badass is that?
Yeah.
That's
incredible.
And we didn't change that chasing. We were successful with that quality, and it's, at brisket camp at A&M, they do, 4 different grades. Well, they kind of cook it. They assist cooking it for it to grade out kind of like it does. But I said, let me cook the select grades and do a true blind test. It's definitely a feather in our hat that we've cooked select grade. I like it better.
Oh, yeah, it is.
I like it, better. But again, when we have people on a Saturday, I can't make them like the barbecue, but I can make them have a good time and see how important it is that they're here. But it's the cooking method of that. And again, that's stumbled upon. That wrapping method was stumbled upon to prevent error. I cut in there. We used to use a little Sam Cane brisket. It wasn't no bigger than a big pot roast. They were small. And I
remember the picture of you in the issue.
That was a pork steak that I'm holding. They said a brisket.
Was it really?
Yeah, it's still hanging in there. And the Texas Monthly said, and it's brisket. And I'm holding the damn pork steak. But anyway, you get some in there that were never wrapped. And when our original brisket pit attached to the fire pit, and you're trying to get coals for this, you lose sight of that. And we would definitely have some that were done.
Yeah, they were done, screaming at you.
But
take someone out if you throw it at them.
Oh, it was. Again, that's just how we stumbled upon successful method.
Anything coming up that you're doing that you want to let people know about?
We'll be closed May the 2nd, and
1-star review closed.
Yeah.
And that's it. People will travel and they don't call. Saturday when we cooked for the 28th and we went to the festival, I was here all night, and car after car after car. And we've been posting for 2 or 3 months on social media and our website.
Yeah, but it blows me away that you're going to go travel further than 15 miles and not check if the place is going to be, just assume. Oh, yeah.
And how many, I cannot believe there's not somebody didn't pull up today while we're shooting it,
This stop might be open on
just,
Monday.
They drove through. Are y'all open today? Or how many, my phone ring 1 o'clock in the morning, what time do y'all open tomorrow? Well, we don't open tomorrow. We open on Saturdays. That'll happen weekly.
That's why I'm calling you at 1 o'clock on Monday night.
But if, like yesterday, we had Easter here and nobody showed up. That was very abnormal. And then like being here today, nobody came. But Saturday morning we were closed. I imagine 20 or 30. And I had anticipated that, and I had some that we'd cooked that week that were vacuum sealed, and I sold everything I had, before I left Saturday morning to go over there.
Attaboy. Like I told Kerry yesterday, and I told Tootsie again this morning, it was like, I'd really like to hear about the past. I'd really like to hear about some old stories. I'd like to hear what you guys remember about those times, because I missed it. I miss getting that stuff on tape with my father, and I regret it every day. And just to get some of this stuff down, just to put it in the public record,
And that's like on Friday nights, or even Saturday mornings now. The time her and
You should
I
have just somebody walking around following you guys.
There's just the knowledge she's given me of history of Lexington is just amazing.
Yep. Seriously.
Is there a story she's told you that you've told a million times that's still a great story?
Nothing comes to mind other than eating at her market, and we didn't. Saturdays was my family's auction barn day, so we very seldom had barbecue on a Saturday. Growing up, very seldom. Granny would cook for us before we went to the auction barn. As a kid, I stayed home, but then later we all went to the auction barn. But we never did go in the market a lot. I did later years, some, but not. I'd have been better than most of my customers are, but I wouldn't have been a weekly customer. But nothing really stands out other than the fact that we were able to come together and butt heads for many years. It was tough, very tough, to manage her for 20-something years. Earlier years be a quality issue. It would take me 3 or 4 or 5 weeks to kind of work into a little bit of a change to where it was, it was her idea. I didn't just walk in and say, we need to, no. It was the week we finally moved all the ribs from part indirect and part direct. That was, I was at work that night, and I wasn't here yet that morning, but it was, and a lot of it was not necessarily for quality. It's, damn, she's 90 years old today. She'll be 91 next week. I wanted less strenuous for her and to be able to make it. And, that was for a long period of time. She may not have done much here, but she wanted everybody to see her here. I said, people don't care. They want to see you and take a picture with you. You can get there at 7 o'clock.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And she's finally accepted that. But it has been some very strenuous years, or Saturday nights, or Saturday mornings, for sure. But it's all been worth it. Now, like I said, had me not, her and her son didn't have a relationship. Her and her daughter would have Easter, which they didn't this year. It was kind of shocked. And her son lived 200 yards from him. He wouldn't be invited, And then for them to have their last years, at least a Saturday here of spending quality time together, it's worth it to me. Would she say she admitted it or thinks or what? No, but it's worth it to me. They got, when I was, and again, this will all be aired, won't it? Screened. When, his last words to me was, some of the times is take care of his banking, his different things, so it didn't get scooped in the wrong direction. It was very rewarding for me to see him have a relationship, and to think of her to go through losing a son and a husband. I told her when her son was at her son's house that day, I said, you have got to make a move. Either you can continue doing this and both of you will be in the nursing home together, or you've got to make a hard decision. You cannot physically take care of this size of guy as you are right now. And it was tough, she couldn't do it.
Yeah.
It wasn't a tight-knit family of 5 or 6 people. It was her. Taking care of her husband. Saturday mornings, he didn't have to pee back here. He wasn't very mobile at the end. He didn't have to pee till about opening time. And that's when we're running and going. And, she'd have to go get him to the bathroom. And, she did all of that. But then her son, with the radiation and chemo, it was, I mean, we would go from this side of town to give him his medicine on that side of town, but it all happened, you know. He had family there, and I guess it was his 50th birthday, you know, we had it at the house. He was, y'all all knew him, he was a hoot, but
Yeah.
he wanted some attention and some love that he never got. You know, and it was good that his mama and him, at least the last 5, and they would have a throwdown. I mean, here on Saturday morning sometime. But he was a drinker, you know. And if his kid come up here on Saturday morning, God damn, she'd be basket case. You know, he was a little hyper, bounced off the wall kid that just wanted attention. I mean, I'll never forget taking pictures one Saturday, and he come and just got him. She said, "Get out of here, get over there." And they said, "No, we want him in our picture," you know, and it just burned her ass up.
Yeah.
You know, they were from California or wherever, bumfucked Egypt, and he just got in the picture, and it tore her ass up. But they'd get in a brawl on Saturday morning. But again, like I said, they had 4 or 5 quality years of some quality time here on Saturday morning.
Do you want the best Texas barbecue that you could possibly get, but you're nowhere near Texas? Goldbelly.com, you guys. You can get barbecue from Snow's, Louis Mueller, Pecan Lodge, Stanley's Famous. We'll give you $20 off your first order. Put in this promo code, go to goldbelly.com, get something from all 4 of our places. $20 off shipping. Goldbelly.com. Do it.
Well said, I think.
All right, man. Easy.
Well, guys, as always, thanks for tuning in to the Smokeless podcast. We're honored, grateful, and proud to be able to do what we do, to hang out together and have amazing people like Kerry join us, and Tootsie. She had to take off. She's always working. She had another job she had to go do real quick. But yeah, like, subscribe, go to snowsbarbecue.com. Check them out. Follow them on socials. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.